Did you know that most new businesses don't make it? It's a tough reality that many people don't talk about openly, but it's the truth behind the headlines and success stories we usually see. In fact, 9 out of 10 startups close their doors within just a few years. That's a staggering number, and it can feel overwhelming if you're starting something new or chasing a dream. That sounds discouraging, but let's flip the script. What if failure isn't the end, but actually the beginning of something greater? Every person who tries is defined not by the outcome, but by the courage to begin. Taking that first step, despite the risk, is what truly sets you apart. Failure isn't rare or shameful, it's universal. Everyone at some point faces setbacks, disappointments, and moments when things don't go as planned. Every leader, innovator, and artist you admire has faced closed doors and heard the word no. Their journeys are filled with obstacles, rejections, and moments of doubt. The difference? How they respond? They choose to get back up, to learn, and to keep moving forward, no matter how many times they stumble. Failure isn't a final judgment. It's feedback, a lesson. It's a chance to reflect, adjust, and come back stronger than before. Let's bring failure into the light and talk about it. When we share our struggles, we realize we're not alone, and we can support each other through tough times. When you try and it doesn't work out, you're not a failure, you're a student. Every mistake is a lesson, every setback a stepping stone. Each attempt gives you information for your next, stronger try. With every effort, you're building resilience, skills, and wisdom. Success is never a straight line, it's a winding path. There are twists, turns, and unexpected detours along the way. Think of learning to ride a bike. You fell, you learned, you got better. Each fall was a lesson, not a defeat, and eventually, you found your balance. Failure is your greatest teacher. It's the mentor that pushes you to grow, adapt, and reach new heights you never thought possible. It's the step that leads to freedom and growth. Embracing failure means embracing the process of becoming your best self. Life's biggest goals are no different. Every achievement is built on a foundation of lessons learned from failure, persistence, and the courage to keep going. Why are we so afraid of failing? It comes down to a few core fears. First, the fear of judgment. What will others think? This fear keeps us playing small, afraid to step outside our comfort zone. Then, the fear of our own inadequacy. Failure feels like proof of our worst doubts. We internalize setbacks, believing we are the failure, but that's a misconception we must unlearn. Failure isn't permanent, it's just a moment in time. Life always offers new chances and new chapters. We also fear the discomfort. Failure hurts, and we're wired to avoid pain. But growth and comfort can't coexist. To grow, you must risk discomfort and disappointment. The pain of a setback is a small price for a life of purpose. Don't let fear keep you from trying. The only real failure is never starting. After failure, we often get stuck in rumination, replaying mistakes, criticizing ourselves, and getting lost in what-ifs. This cycle deepens shame and regret, anchoring us to the past. Another trap is isolation. We hide from others, cutting off the support we need most. Connection is vital. Sharing your story helps you heal and move forward. We also make sweeping generalizations. One failure colors our whole identity. This catastrophic thinking robs us of hope. A setback in one area doesn't define your whole life. The most damaging trap? Giving up on your dreams. Abandoning your aspirations dims your spirit. The real tragedy isn't failure, but dreams left unexplored. Hold on to your vision, even when the path is hard. Don't let fear of failing again keep you from trying. Your dreams deserve another chance. Let me share my story. A story about a setback that, at the time, felt like the end of the road, but ultimately became the beginning of something far greater than I could have imagined. Early in my career, I was a news anchor in Baltimore. I was young, ambitious, and absolutely certain I'd found my path. I poured my heart into every broadcast, believing that hard work and passion would be enough to secure my place in the newsroom. But then, reality hit hard. I was told I was too emotional, that my style didn't fit the mold of a traditional news anchor. The feedback stung, and before long, I was demoted. It felt like a public declaration that I wasn't good enough. I felt humiliated, embarrassed, and convinced that my TV career was over before it had truly begun. I questioned everything, my abilities, my dreams, and even my self-worth. For a while, I let those doubts consume me. I believed I'd failed, and I wondered if I should give up on my dreams altogether. But then, something unexpected happened. I was moved to a daytime talk show, a position that at first felt like a step down, a consolation prize for someone who couldn't cut it in hard news. Yet that so-called failure became my greatest gift. On that talk show, I discovered a new side of myself and a new way to connect with people. I found my true voice, one that resonated with viewers, not because I hid my emotions, but because I embraced them. I realized that my empathy and my ability to feel deeply were not weaknesses, but strengths. The very qualities that made me unfit for news anchoring became the foundation of my success as a talk show host. My compassion, my curiosity, and my willingness to listen helped me build real connections with guests and audiences alike. That demotion wasn't a dead end, it was a redirection. It was life's way of nudging me toward the path I was truly meant to walk. Looking back, I see now that failure didn't break me. It pushed me to grow, to adapt, and to discover my real purpose. I learned that failure isn't the end. It's often life moving you in a new direction, one you might never have chosen for yourself, but one that's ultimately better. Sometimes a closed door isn't rejection. It's the universe guiding you to a better window, a new opportunity you never saw coming. My so-called failure was the catalyst for my entire career. It set me on a journey that allowed me to touch lives, share stories, and make a real difference. That setback led me to my true purpose, and for that I am forever grateful. So when you face a setback, don't just ask, why me? Instead, ask, what is this teaching me? How can I grow from this? Where is this experience leading me? What new doors might open if I keep moving forward with hope and resilience? Remember, your greatest success might be waiting just beyond your biggest failure. Embrace the journey, trust the process, and know that every setback is setting you up for something greater. How you see failure shapes what happens next. Is it a wall or a stepping stone? Shift your perspective. Find the lesson and the opportunity in every setback. Instead of, why did this happen to me? Ask, what did this happen for me? This mindset turns you from a victim into a student of life. Embrace a growth mindset. Believe your abilities can develop with effort. People with a growth mindset see challenges as opportunities, not threats. When you think, I can't do this, add yet. Focus on the process, not just the outcome. Celebrate effort, learning, and courage, not just results. Your thoughts create your reality. Choose to see failure as a lesson, and you'll act in ways that make it true. The story you tell yourself can turn setbacks into comebacks. When we struggle, it often feels like we're alone in our journey. But the truth is, history is filled with people who faced failure, sometimes over and over, before they finally found success. Their stories remind us that setbacks are not unique to us. They are a universal part of the human experience. Take Walt Disney, for example. He was once fired from a newspaper job for supposedly lacking imagination. He even went bankrupt after a failed business venture, long before he built the magical empire we know today. Imagine if he had let those early defeats define him. There would be no Mickey Mouse, no Disneyland, no childhoods filled with wonder. Or consider J.K. Rowling, who wrote the first Harry Potter book while struggling to make ends meet as a single mother. Her manuscript was rejected by 12 different publishers. Each rejection could have been the end of her dream, but she kept writing, kept believing, and kept submitting her story. Rowling once considered herself a failure, but she didn't let that stop her. One yes changed everything, not just for her, but for millions of readers around the world. Her perseverance turned personal hardship into global inspiration. Then there's Thomas Edison, the inventor who brought light to the world. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison's journey was filled with experiments that didn't go as planned, but he saw each setback as a lesson, not a defeat. For Edison, every failed attempt was a step closer to discovery. He understood that progress is built on persistence, and that innovation is born from learning what doesn't work. If Edison had given up after his first, or even his 100th failure, our world might still be in the dark. His resilience literally illuminated the world. These stories aren't just about famous names, they're about the indomitable human spirit, the drive to keep going, even when the odds seem impossible. They show us that failure is not the end, but often the beginning of something greater. Failure isn't a barrier to success, it's often a prerequisite. Every stumble, every mistake is a lesson in disguise, shaping us into stronger, wiser individuals. What truly sets these people apart is resilience, the remarkable ability to get back up again and again, no matter how many times they fall. They refused to let setbacks define their story. They believed in themselves, even when the world doubted them. Their self-belief became their anchor, guiding them through storms of uncertainty and disappointment. Their journeys show us that your current setback isn't your final chapter. Every day is a new page, and you have the power to write your own comeback story. With persistence and perspective, failure becomes the foundation for future success. Each challenge you overcome adds another brick to the path you're building. You don't need to be extraordinary to achieve great things, just resilient. It's the willingness to keep moving forward, no matter what, that makes all the difference. So let the stories of these legends inspire your own journey. Remember, every setback is a setup for a comeback. Your resilience can turn failure into your greatest triumph. So how do you get back up after a fall? First, allow yourself to feel. Don't ignore the pain or pretend it doesn't hurt. Process your emotions in a healthy way. Talk, write, walk, or cry. Then shift from emotion to analysis. Become a detective in your own life. Ask, what really happened? What was in my control? What can I learn? Extract the lesson. Every setback contains wisdom if you look for it. Identify 1 or 2 takeaways to carry forward. This turns failure into fuel for future success. Next, make a conscious decision to move forward. Let go of the past. Release what you can't change. Forgive yourself and others. Focus on the future, not the rearview mirror. Take one small, positive step. Call someone, send an email, sketch a new idea. That first step breaks the inertia and starts your comeback. Progress begins with action. Resilience isn't innate. It's a muscle you build with every challenge. Each time you bounce back, you prove to yourself you can survive. This builds true confidence. Nurture a strong support system. No one succeeds alone. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, especially when you don't. Cultivate these relationships and allow yourself to ask for help. Focus on what you can control, your attitude, effort, and response. Let go of what's outside your power. This restores your sense of agency. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself as kindly as you would a friend. Mistakes are part of being human. Remember, your worth isn't tied to any single outcome. Self-compassion helps you heal and rise again. We've seen that failure is a normal, even necessary part of a courageous life. Your past doesn't define your future. Every day is a new chance. The power to move forward is already inside you. Choose your thoughts, tap into your resilience, and take one more step. Don't fear failure. Embrace the lessons it brings. Every closed door is a guidepost to a better path. Your journey is unique, and every stumble adds to your strength and wisdom. What failure have you been holding on to? Look at it with new eyes. See it as a badge of honor. It means you tried, you dared, you lived. Share your story in the comments. Your comeback could inspire someone else. Let's build a community of resilience and keep moving forward together.